Good afternoon, Mr. Ras, and anyone who's seen this video for my vlog for this 8th and last assignment of batch 2. So for this assignment, I have to make a vlog on what will I take from this experience from my study abroad experience into my professional career. I have to focus on develop skills, all the behavior relevant to my professional career. So for this, I decided to choose 6 skills, and I'm going to use relevant examples in some of them. Because I have to use 2 examples. So the first one that I've learned since coming to Indonesia is independence. Independence in terms of as I come here, I had a very big culture shock. I had no people, I had no friends around me. My friends weren't here. I lived in a small 2x2 meter room. There was no hot shower. The food is really bad. So I learned how to be independent. I couldn't just call anyone else and tell them the whole time, listen, I'm in a bad situation. I learned to be independent. People don't speak English at all. In Jakarta, you have to go on the phone. You have to really try to be like patient with them. So I learned how to be independent as well in terms of traveling. Like you have to sort out your own things. You have to, sometimes you don't have a hotel, you don't have a place to stay, so you literally have to go and go to knock on people's doors. So I really learned how to be independent as I didn't have a very big support system around me where I used to have in Namibia or in Europe. So that was the first big thing I learned, which I could say I take from this sort of experience. The second one I have is that creative problem solving I've learned. So this, in terms of independence, in terms of the business aspect, I would say is that since I've done this, you would never go to your supervisor. You learn if there's a problem ever in your business aspect, you would always try to sort it out first, because you've been in worse situations in different countries in the world. For me now in Asia, I would always try to sort out things myself. So the second skill I've learned is creative problem solving. When I say creative problem solving, it kind of relates back to independence as well, but it's so you sit in a situation. So one example I can use is I was traveling through Indonesia. I was in Jakarta. One night there wasn't a place to stay, so what I had to do is I literally had to go to houses and ask them, can I stay with you at the night? I'll help you work in the morning. So I basically did couch surfing, but it was 12 a.m. at night, so I literally had to go to different people, ask them, listen, can you please help me out? And they don't speak English, so I had to think outside the box. So I was literally like, I went to a person who speaks English. I gave him a piece of paper. I told him write this down, and I gave them the paper, and they said okay. So I worked, and actually I worked at a restaurant, which is actually very interesting. I met very nice people, which I can always go back to. So that was a very mind-opening experience for me. Third skill I've learned. It's an international experience, so how people in Asia work in terms of business. So in Europe, people are always, it's your degree, it's everybody's on a level playing field, I can say that. It doesn't matter if you have a degree, you're on this level, you don't have a degree here. But in Asia, people don't really care that much. It's all about trust. Everything in Asia works about trust. If you trust the person next to you, you'll have a good job. You'll have good business partnerships. So I learned how people in Asia function as a whole. They work, like how their work ethic is, how they operate in a business environment as well as in a lecturing or university environment. So I've learned a lot of international experience. You say I've been living in Africa for my whole life. Then I lived in Holland, and now I've lived in Asia. So I feel like all this contributes to like you can take different aspects and skills from different countries, which you can combine in your reservoir. And now I can say I know exactly how life is and how business works in Europe. Europe, it's very strict, straightforward. You need to do this, and this. In Asia, it's more flexible, I could say, but it works a lot on trust and how you know and how you build trust in order to get into good business deals or stuff. So my fourth skill I've learned is adaptability. So adaptability in terms of the people you meet here, because now suddenly everyone doesn't speak English. You don't have friends around you. It's difficult to transport from A to B, so you need to like be very adaptable. You can't just expect everything to run smooth. University is just 2 kilometers away, but it can take me 1.5 to 2 hours to get there. So you have to be very adaptable. Adaptability is very key in terms of business aspects. In terms of how flexible you can be. So do you get under pressure? If you get under pressure, how adaptable can you move from A to B? I've learned how to be flexible, because you don't meet a lot of people. You need to be adaptable in terms of your thinking. You meet people which are very clever, and you also meet people which are very uneducated. So you need to learn how to communicate with different types of people in Asia. And I've learned this in a very long way, I can say. But I think adaptability is a very key aspect I can take away from my study abroad experience. The fourth one I could say is patience. This is one thing I really don't have a lot of is patience. I would say my patience is very low before I came here, and here suddenly you take, like I say, take 2 hours to get to university. The lecturers are late. You get your work back, it takes a very while. So you're always kind of like wondering, oh, you're used to Europe where things are on time, the bus is on time. So I've learned patience, and patience is a very key aspect in business, because if you don't have, like, sometimes if you don't have patience, you get frustrated, you get agitated, and that will mean like you force things down, or you don't do things. So now I've learned how to be more patient, how to deal with situations better. As people don't understand me, I have to go on Google Translate, tell them, oh, listen, this is how I want it, and listen. So I've learned patience is a big aspect I've learned. The last one, which is probably the most important one I could say, is networking communication skills. Like, I've been to 6 different countries in Southeast Asia. I've met people from people living in surfers, from restaurants, to business owners. What can I say? People living in hostels, working, traveling the world for 6 months, for a year. I've met people working at Apple, people working in Criteo. I've met so many people, and connections and networking is probably the reason I chose Indonesia in general is just because I knew I was going to meet a lot of people. I think I've met people, I put it on my paper the other day, 31 different countries. I've made a load of good friends. So now, for instance, I met a guy in Australia that owns a business, and he said I can do my internship there. So now I'm currently going to do my internship at his company in Melbourne. So that's a very, very, very like traveling, like they say, traveling opens the mind. And for that reason, I would say connections and networking is the best, the most important skill I can take out of my study abroad experience. And this is like all I can say, how is this relevant to your business career? Like, all of this kind of relates to your business career, because networking and communication skills, like I've learned to communicate with people who doesn't speak English, people who are communicating, can communicate with different types of people, like I say, from uneducated to very educated, to business people, to surfers, to people on the street, to restaurant owners, to people cleaning the rooms, to like every type of person. You learn how to communicate and to network. I've created an extensive network, which I'm very proud of. How to be adaptable in business is a very, very key aspect. As you know, adaptability is something you just don't born with. You actually have to learn how to be adaptable. Patience is the thing I've learned personally, is a very, very big skill I've learned, and I think I can definitely take that into my business career, because patience is a thing that it shows maturity and experience. Problem solving, like I said before, is like if you have a problem, you're not going to run into you're not going to just go to your supervisor, or you're going to go to your support system. You're going to try to solve it out first, and you're going to try to solve all the problems you have first. And if not, worst case scenario, go to somebody you can ask for. Lastly, independence. From an individual point of view, independence is very important, because you're not going to be with your family, with your friends one day. You might be working in a different country. You're going to be working in another continent, and independence is a very key aspect to learn, and how to cope with different food, different people, different experiences, like getting sick. Like, for instance, like I got very sick. I couldn't just go to the nearest hospital. I needed to work it out myself. So I've learned all this. Is probably the 6 main key aspects I've learned from my study abroad experience. Living in 3 different continents now, moving to Australia, I think this just broadens your mind. So like in general, I think like my study abroad experience has taught me so many skills that I haven't spoken about now. But if I can pick 6, that will probably be my 6 biggest skills that I can take into a business aspect. In terms of university, I've learned how the lecturers are different from us to theirs, how the kids in the class communicate, how they work. So it's been a very mind-opening experience for me. I think I can take a lot of important things back to Holland, or to wherever my future takes me. I'm really proud of myself growing the way I did, and also I'm really excited about going to my internship and going to test these skills in a business environment. So thank you very much for listening to this, and this is Ruben signing out.